I
Go
think
ahead,
this
please.
is such an important topic, and a question that came up at the beginning of our talk was, how do you personally find the balance between the masculine and the feminine? And what I find is that's what you're supporting your students in doing, because there is that flow, like the rock and the water. It's like sometimes the woman is the rock and the man's the water. Sometimes the man is the rock, the woman's the water. So yeah, how do we come into balance through dance and through relationship?
Well, let me go ahead and tell you that story. It's very short. What I do in all of my beginner classes, part of the black belt system, is we have what we call story time. And this particular story is the man is the rock in the dance relationship, and in the dance relationship is very, very similar to life. Okay, the man is the rock, the woman is three elements of water. She is the steam, she is the actual fluid water, and she is the ice. Okay, and when the man should only be the rock, if he tries to be the steam, the water, and the ice, he's too much like her, and that's an instant turnoff. There has to be a polarity difference between masculine and feminine. And in the black belt system, we're all about finding that polarity. And when the man is the rock, he's strong. He has two triangles underneath his armpits. I always say put a tangerine underneath. He has a triangle in the way he stands. Even in the way he sits, you can see triangular shapes all about him. And that's in that What Women Want DVD. The Edie study guide also has pictures of guys who are in triangular, like when Sylvester Stallone is standing there as Rocky, or he's on top of a hill, or Arnold Schwarzenegger has his gun on. You always see forms of triangles all over a man, whereas a woman, a very feminine woman, will be in the sign of an S, or steam, or smoke, or sex appeal, or sensuality. S at snake. Okay, she will be as small as possible. She'll keep her legs together in a beautiful S shape. You know, when she's sitting down, she will pull her arms in and will not have any triangular form there. You know, she'll be very sensual and soft, whereas the guy is all about power. And so when you look at the triangle on the dollar bill, there's a pyramid there, and the pyramid is the strongest structure in the universe. The triangular shape is the strongest structure, and that financial power, the great finance tower in San Francisco is a huge pyramid. And so I explain that the rock, each one of these ridges here has a pyramid in itself. So there's a pyramid here, and the rock is on top of the water. The rock emerges from the water. If you go back, you know, the rock emerges from the water. The woman gives birth to the rock, and so she's the water. So, but the minute she can feel his weakening. Like if he starts to weaken and not strong, she'll feel it right away. Even at the embryonic level, Dr. Christian Northrup, who wrote Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom, you're familiar with her.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was talking in one of her programs about even at the embryonic level, when the sperm enters the egg, if there's something genetically wrong with the sperm, the egg will try to fix it first before it enters, which is crazy. Wow. And they just discovered this a few years ago. And so the egg, so even we as women at the embryonic level are trying to fix men. Okay. Wow. I went to an Anthony Robbins seminar the other day, and he goes, "What do women do?" And they said, "Test us." What do women do? They test. That's all they do, is they test, they test, they test. And I think it's because the rock here wants to the woman wants to make sure that he's strong enough for her. And this goes back to caveman days, whatever. You know, he goes off and he kills the meat, brings it home, she cooks it, she takes care of the family, she does all this stuff. That's why we can do 7 things at once. A man has one objective: survival. Go get the food, bring it home. She'll take care of everything else. All I have to do is one thing: get the food, bring it home. And so when a woman is the steam part of this, She is the sexy, sensual, beautiful, 5-year-old, gorgeous little girl, that men are just kryptonited by, man, I don't understand this, but I love it. She's the Playboy centerfold, the airbrush, and they're just mesmerized by this. And so she's the steam. Little girls are the steam, little 5-year-olds. You just fall in love with them because they're all so feminine. And the little girls carry things. They put things inside their house, and that is a symbolic of the womb, putting things in. Whereas little boys, 5-year-old boys, all they have are guns and pistols, and they shoot and they point. They have a sword. They have. And you don't see girls having a sword. You see girls having something putting in, whereas a guy is symbolic of his penis, right? So he already at that age is looking to shoot and bring back. Women are gathering. So here, the steamy, she's a little 5-year-old girl. When a woman is the water, she goes with his flow. And this is where we talk about in dance, you're following him. You're going with his flow. If he moves this direction, you move with him. And a water doesn't flow uphill. Water flows downhill. She even smooths out his rough spots over time. She can cover his mistakes. But if she decides, come on, honey, I'm going to smooth out your rough spots now. Come on, get good, get better, get better. What does she become? She becomes him.
Yeah.
Worse, she's cold and frigid. She becomes the ice. So now, in order for her to melt, she has to find a bigger rock or a stronger rock that will make her melt. You understand? And so if he becomes water or if he becomes steam like a woman, which I've seen in relationships, the man suddenly becomes steam, so she has no choice but to take his balls and own them until he deserves them back. And he cannot step up to the plate if she's on the plate. She has to step off the plate in order to allow him to step on. And when I coach couples in dancing, I say, okay, girlfriend, you need to give him back his balls because, you've emasculated him all these years, He can't step up to the plate because you're on it. Step off for a second, let him get on.
Aww.
A lot of these times women sense the weakness in men, and right away they think, well, if you can't wear the pants in the family, I got to. And then that just creates problems. Now, sometimes it does work. Sometimes you'll see a very masculine woman and a very feminine man. And I've seen 2 couples in the salsa scene to where this does indeed work.
Wow.
And they work with that, and they know how, and they're still together.
Right.
But I try to encourage the opposite, to where the man is the man and the woman is the woman. And when I tell that story to the students and to the instructors that I train, they themselves learn about themselves in the lead. And I'll never forget Onita from Alamosa. She said, wow, Edie, I'm the only female instructor with all of these college kids, and I was always wondering why these guys could never man up, why they could never step up to the plate. Come on, give me more strength. I need you to do this. So when she got done with her red belt training, she went back to Alamosa, and she, without telling them, she became the girly girl. And she said, okay, I want you to lead me. I want you to ask me to dance. Just ask me. And she stepped off the plate. And she emailed me back, and she said, you would not believe the hidden, I guess you could say, the men that came out of these guys when I stopped being their teacher. And when I teach private lessons, for example, I'm how can I say, I'm very in touch with my masculine side. So I'm a guy with the guy, all right, balls to balls with my student. And I tell him, look, you need to take J-Lo and put her, you need to take her, remember her hips. Now I want you to look at her. I don't say look at me, look at her. And then they look at Edie, but I'm coaching them as the masculine. And then I say, okay, now we're going to actually dance. And I have to close my eyes, and I turn on the music, and I go to the wall, and I wait. And that signals to them to come ask me to dance. I don't do this for them. I do this for me, because now I have to get out of my masculine and become a woman again, so they're not terrified dancing with this guy that's been training them that's disguised as a woman. You know what I mean? So now they ask me to dance and I become the woman, and now I'm more easy to lead. Because before, when I didn't do that, it was always difficult for me to take off my man coat and let my student practice now what I just got done teaching him.
Right.
And so it was like a guy dancing with a guy. So I literally have to change gender flipping in my mind, even while I teach my classes. And I notice that I do that a lot with my husband. When I've been teaching 8, 10, 12 hours a day, literally private lessons, I come back, I have 1 hour of driving time to become the woman again for my man when I get home. And I listen to soft music, I listen to our favorite song, I get into that female role, because I have in the past come home as a man and he can't stand it. He goes in the other room and he goes, "Let me know when you're ready," you know. And I, whoa, you know. And I didn't realize that I was bossing him around, telling him what to do, coming in, stomping around like a bull in a china closet. And I like the feminine side of me, but it's cool to be able to pull out the masculine when I need it and pull out the feminine when I need it. And what I've realized over all these years is that my feminine is actually more effective when dealing with a business decision or when dealing in a room of men. I can get more accomplished my way if I become the female.
Yeah.
If I try to put on some balls and walk in there with a briefcase and tell everybody what to do, it's a fight, right? But if I come in as in a dress and long hair and, you know, I can get whatever I want. It's unbelievable the power that the women have if they would just recognize it, you know.
You know, I'm like hanging on every word, and I just want to thank you so much for being with us today. I think my mind is just totally expanding every moment that we're speaking and you're sharing with us. And receptivity is the word that just keeps coming up, and the balance, that there is a balance. And how can we as human beings, as women, as men, continually just evolve through that and know when it's time for a little more of this, when it's time for a little more of this. And I just hear you as a guide. You're just supporting people so wholeheartedly to just step in fully and show up as who they be and contribute greatly to life. It's amazing.
It's exciting to be able to do this. And, you know, I think that salsa was a healing for me, you know, and I think that it heals, I would say any dance in general, but salsa in particular, because you know, it's okay to take your hands. I have to teach women this. I have to teach women to pretend you have a headache and then take your hair and look through your bicep, kiss your bicep, and then just do this. And do you know how hard that is these days?
Yes.
You know, they don't know where to go like this. Their hair is like all over.
Or they're like lightly, like they won't touch themselves. And I'm like, you know, touch yourself.
I know. They have to think about it, you know. And it's funny because salsa brings us back to who we are to begin with. You know, we're women and we're men. You know, and sure, there's okay. I don't say I'm against feminists, but, you know, sometimes they've taken things just a little too far. And on Dancer Hangout, I talk about the feminist era, and there's a few feminists that responded to me, and, you know, we posted their comments, and some of them don't like some of the things I say. But I'll tell you what, they're not in very happy relationships, if any. They've had to put on their man coat in order to supposedly survive, and they're wondering why their ex-husband, whom was a very prominent lawyer or doctor or whatever, and she is also a very prominent lawyer or doctor, why he left her for some stripper at a bar who has, this stripper, she has no education, she is a prostitute. She doesn't know how to earn a living. She has 3 kids, and I have my degree. I work every day. I earn over 150,000. What could he possibly see in her? You know, and how many of us have been through that, where our lover leaves us for a woman whom we think is half the value. You understand? And in the looks department, everything, education, everything,
Wow.
well, it's because he wants to be with a woman, not with another man, you know. Right? They don't care. I've coached women. I can't tell you how many private lessons ended up in just a talk
Yep.
like this.
Yep.
And when she says, you know, Edie, I've been to Brazil, I've traveled the world, I have my master's degree in this, that, and the other. I just want him back. I want him back. And I look at her and I say, you know what? He could really give a shit how much money you make. He could give a shit where you've been. He doesn't care how many awards you've gotten. He doesn't want to know. He just wants to know you. He doesn't want to know about your accomplishments.
Right.
He's the one with all the accomplishments. And you know, it's hard for women to take because some of us are very driven. Some of us are very goal-oriented. We want to win. Women, we want to be the best. We want to make the most. We want to have the most number of degrees. We want to have our own businesses, our own companies. But we're so alone.
We feel it's the illusion that we're alone. Yeah. And I think what I'm hearing is, it's like when that woman said, I just want him back. It's like, you just want you back. Like, and he wants you too. Who you are, not who you're trying to be. Like, we just put on these masks and we think we have to be something other than our true nature. And it's like when you said you walk into the boardroom as who you be. You're the woman that you are with your femininity, and the masculine is there too. But it's like you share that gift, and as a result, it's that receptivity on both sides. We can work together.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't want to go to bed with a spineless worm with no backbone.
Right.
I just want to go to bed with a man that is that I can just relax and be a woman with. It's not that I'm giving up my strength or my power to be with a strong guy. No, it's just that I can be myself and I can be free, and I don't have to prove myself all the time.
And that is power.
Absolutely. You know, a very wise woman in her 60s. Actually, they had been married for 60 years, and she said, well, a person was asking her, "What's the secret to your relationship?" And she says, "Just accept them for who they are and love them anyway." You know? And I think that speaks volumes. You know,
right?
Just that simple word. And I tell that to students, women whose husbands are off time or they're really not that great a dancer. I'll never forget, I was in Alaska, and this woman, Anchorage, she came up to me and she said, "Edie, can you please help me?" And I said, "What's wrong?" She goes, "I hate dancing with my husband. Every time he asks me to dance, I just can't stand it." She goes, "He's off time. He doesn't know how to dance. I would rather dance with anyone else." And I said, "Really?" And I said, "Where is he?" And I you know, because I thought she was trying to be secretive. We were going to have our own. Oh, she goes, "Okay, this is him." And he was latched onto her shoulder. And I was thinking, oh, how does he feel right now at this, right? Talking about emasculation, right? And I'm thinking, this poor man, right? And what is he... Some things are better left unsaid. Some things are, you know, he probably knows. He knew before he came up to me. And I finally had to tell her, I said, "Look, you know, every man has 3 women that he would rather dance with than his wife. Every woman has at least 3 guys that she would rather dance with than her husband. That's just a known fact. But it's not like you want to sleep with those other people. It's just that they have different leads, they have different styles, whatever. Accept that, but don't make him feel bad about it, you know." And I think that a lot of women don't realize that what they say and their actions are actually embarrassing men. When I give this little speech or this little talk, I say, ladies, it's your job to follow and to trust and to honor and to respect your man. I can't tell you how many married women actually start laughing out loud and their husbands are right next to them.
You
And
know,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah. It just brings me to that idea of when you said if I go into the boardroom as a man,
Uh-huh.
we're going to do is fight. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm hearing you say. Like when
Right.
the woman tries to be so much the man in the relationship, it's just going to be like this.
That's why relationships are so screwed up these days.
Mm.
And why people don't last and why marriages, if you've been married over 30 years, you're an anomaly. Oh my God, you're kidding, right? I'll never forget, I was at a Congress once, right? And we were all the instructors were having dinner after the event. And somebody said, did you know that what's her name is pregnant? And we looked around, oh, really? Who's the father? And and the lady goes, her husband, what's his name? And we all go, no. It was just beyond. But I was saying, listen to this situation, right? And and everybody started laughing, because we're so used to the scandal, right? We're so used to, and it's not normal anymore to be pregnant by your husband. What's wrong with you? And I was dying.
The return of the happy, healthy couples.
Right. And it's interesting when I teach my boot camps, I talk about these things throughout the day.
Right.
Just and people, they email me afterward, and one email in particular, I'll never forget. She goes, "Thank you, Edie, for giving me permission to be the woman again in my relationship." And I'm thinking, I didn't give you permission. What do you mean?
But you did.
In a sense, when somebody gets on stage and you're listening to them teach and you're saying, look, ladies, step off the plate, it's okay. Guys look up to this and say, wow, because they're so not used to being men or being allowed to be a man. And, they're so not used to, I don't know what happened. You think about it. What happened, really?
Right. Well, and, I think that I think about this in my own experience. Sometimes I'll go out on the dance floor and if somebody's off time or they're maybe not like a real proficient leader, I'll find myself in my mind creating all these stories and beliefs and thinking I have to do this or do that. And when I just let all of that go and breathe and just look at this person and open up and receive the moment,
Mm-hmm.
magic happens. Maybe it's not the best dance in the world. However, it's not even about that. It's like, oh my God, I'm here on the dance floor with this other human being, and there is a reason for this. Like, how can I just receive the gift that is here right now?
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do.
Yeah, it's a process. It's an ever-evolving presence process.
You know where I discovered that? I discovered that one of my dear friends, Marla Friedler from Los Angeles, this was about, I would say, back in the year 1999. And I was just starting my website, and I was, just getting, I got my degree and all these accomplishments. I just got done touring 12 countries in Europe, and I thought, wow, look at everything I've done, And and I was going to go interview Willie Colon, right?
Wow.
And so we were at a concert, and Marla, and I had this really pretty red dress on, and Marla said to me, I said, I'm going to go talk to Willie. She goes, no, don't be so aggressive about it. And she goes, just stand here, just stand there, and put your shoulders back and put your chin up, and just smile. And she goes, make sure you're under this light. And I said, what? I said, I got my pen in my hand. I'm ready to go with this guy. Come on, let's do this. And she goes, no, just stand there. And so she went to one of the bouncers at the gate, and she said, "Hi, I'm with Salsa Web Magazine. I have my friend, the owner, would like to talk to Willie Colon." And the guy looked over at me, just smiling, just being very, like this. And so he said, "Okay," and he let us in. When we got into the hotel room, Celia Cruz was there, Tito Puente, it was a huge thing. Marla did the same thing again. She goes, "Edie, don't approach him. Let him approach you." And I said, "I got to do something. I got to go. I got to see. I got to be the first one. I got to do. Let's go, go, go." She says, "No." She goes, "Just stand there under the light again and just be." Oh my God, it worked. He came up to me. He offered me a drink. He pulled out the chair for me. He let me sit down. I mean, this was Willie Colon, right? It was amazing what you don't have to do in order to get more of you. I think women these days don't realize that all they need to be is just be sometimes, and they'll get more.
Woo! Yes. Huh? I mean, I am, again, just floored. It's like less is more. And the power doesn't come from necessarily, sometimes, the power comes from stepping out in the, and really going for it. However, it is almost more powerful to do what you did, which was to be in your own body, be who you be, and trust, and just receive, allow and receive. To me, that's way scarier than going out and getting it, So I just say, amen, hallelujah to receptivity and receiving.
Yeah, it's so true, huh?
Well, Edie, thank you so much. I know we could talk for years, time immemorial, and hopefully maybe there will be more to come, but I just want to know, is there anything you'd like to tell our viewers about your programs, upcoming events and workshops, or how can people contact you and learn and engage more in your work?
Well, one thing that I am working on right now that's extraordinary is a system to where you can literally call up any other instructor in the world and get free advice, free support, free help, free training material. Or if you have a problem with a student that is being ornery or upset or coming on to other students or smells bad, that you can just get quick advice from another instructor. And it's a network of instructors throughout the world, as well as students, called the Black Belt Salsa System, or the Black Belt System.
Okay.
And we're extending now through to Kizomba and Tango and Bachata and stuff like that. But it's called Black Belt Dance. And it's a complete curriculum online where you just view the move every week that you're going to teach that night. At the end of the month, you give out certificates, and all of the graduates are in a worldwide database.
Wow.
Right now, we have over 400 students in the program and 32 instructors worldwide in 5 countries, including Afghanistan and Kuwait.
Wow.
Yeah, the U.S. military loves the system because it's progressive and it's based on a martial arts belt reward system.
Yeah.
So the students can earn their white through green belt, and then the instructors can also earn their belts as well through third degree black, etc. Right now, the salsa curriculum is 22 months long.
Wow.
And students can earn their white through green belt, and instructors can also earn their belts as well, from purple through black belt, third degree black. And it's all at blackbeltdance.com.
Okay.
And right now we're in 5 countries, 32 instructors, and 400 students strong.
Wow.
So it's a system that's amazing. Yeah, because people, sometimes instructors will go out there and they won't know what to teach anymore. After about a year, they're going, I need to look up on YouTube, just find some hairy move, pull this out of my ass, and just throw it to the student. There's no foundation. They're teaching moves of the week. There's no progression. In the Black Belt system, we have an award ceremony, graduation night, black tie event once a month. and we award certificates based on martial art belts.
Wow.
So you can earn your white belt once a month. Like, for example, in the ballroom community, they have bronze, silver, and gold. Well, it's years before you get your silver. It's years before you get your gold. And God forbid you execute a silver move as a bronze person in a competition. And I'm thinking, wow, it would be so much cooler if you learned black belt waltz or black belt rumba, and you were awarded based on martial art belts. You know, if you go to your husband and say, honey, let's take a waltz class, he's going to continue watching the Lakers, right? But if you say, honey, let's take a black belt waltz class, he might turn down the volume and say, excuse me. You know, the black belt name carries such a quality about it that I thought, wow, black belt salsa, black belt kizomba, black belt tango, that is awesome. And so to ensure that quality is consistent, we've developed the entire curriculum online. We have training manuals at every level. The Dance Business Management Training Manual itself is 400 pages long, just on how to run a dance school. And this is knowledge that has been passed to me through years, 20 years of experience in the dance world in 63 countries. I know what works and I know what doesn't work. Why? Because I was invited. I saw how they do business. I saw how they do business. I look at the two, and there's a common thread between the most successful dance schools in the world and not. And the most successful dance schools in the world, I would say, make up probably 1% of all the dance schools in the world. Just like the, like 90% of the world's income resides within 1% of the population of this planet. The same thing happens with dance schools. The dance schools who have between 3,000 and 5,000 students, okay, are only 1% of all of the dance schools. So I show you what that 1% is doing. I could not understand how the owners of these schools would show up at every congress that I was at every weekend in every nation in the world. And I'm thinking, aren't you supposed to be running a dance school right now? Oh yeah, it's fine. We're making money. And I'm thinking, well, you're here at the pool. How does that work? And so I show people what they're doing. Some of these guys, they're some of my best in the dance business management course, and that's part of the business academy. The actual system is the enterprise itself, where now I take what you learn in the academy and you actually now apply it to your schools. And what we've noticed, for example, Willie McIntosh, who's out of North Carolina, he hadn't been at his studio for 4 months, and he's already experienced a 53% increase in his student base.
Wow.
And so this is something, if you want to retire, if you want to start other schools, if you want to build, start another business and just have this running on the side, we show you how to make your dance business successful, and we give you the tools, the training material, and all of the support 24/7 to be able to do that, to make you successful.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
blackbeltsalsa.com.
Yeah.
Awesome. And also they can find you at ediethesalsafreak.com as well.
No, it will be www.salsafreak.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
so salsafreak.com. Thank you again so much for joining us, and check this woman out. I'm ready to sign up for the black belt salsa system.
Oh, thank you.
It's awesome.
Well,
And
Sarah,
if you're interested in finding out more about me, you can find me at sarahhaykel.com. Sign up for the list. Receive these interviews hot off the presses straight into your inbox. And hey, you know someone that's inspiring, upliftful, and empowerfully doing things in the world? Send them my way, because we want to talk. Edie, much, much respect, gratitude, and love for the gifts you share with the world and with all. And I look forward to seeing you on the dance floor, Mama.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anytime.